Recently, President Trump welcomed the South African president to the White House to confront him over the white genocide taking place in his country. And it shouldn't be a shocker that liberals and Negroes in particular are denying a white genocide is happening. And the reason why they deny it is not rocket science. They deny it because they support it. I mean, just from my own personal experience, there isn't a day going by that blacks aren't blaming whitey for something and fantasizing about an uprising where we, you know, punish whitey for crimes against the ancestors. So the racial nationalism when it comes to so-called black people and the fantasizing about genociding whites in America has been a public exercise consistently done, and social media has just made more people aware of what Negroes have always been saying. And then when it comes to liberals, we see through the mainstream media, through the government, they too promote white genocide, which is why they heavily advocate for the flood of illegal immigrants, primarily from black and brown countries. And yes, self-hating whites. I mean, we've seen with, Austin Metcalf's father that these liberal whites will grovel and apologize if a POC kills their own children. And so, yeah, it's no surprise that you even still have some white South Africans denying genocide is taking place. But again, these are the same whites that would apologize if a Negro murdered, their unborn child by, killing their wife with the baby in the womb. I mean, this is how racially cuckold a lot of these people are. But you even have left-wing media, PBS, acknowledging that death is happening over there, but of course they downplay it. And so maybe with more and more of these instances being highlighted, that the base of the Democrat Party and liberal ideology is just about hating whitey, it'll get more of these, normie whites to wake up to the realities of the race war that's been happening. They've just been sitting idly by getting destroyed. And again, not just POCs and Jews, but a lot of white people themselves aiding in that destruction. But funny enough, some of the most loud-mouthed white liberals who are anti-white, those be the main ones that live in these mostly white neighborhoods. I live in a deep blue state. And the liberal whites that are mouthing about, down with the system, supremacy and racism, those very same people live around mostly white folks. Like 95+% white folks. Just look at the Martha's Vineyard situation when illegals got sent to them, and you saw a gaggle of white liberals desperately trying to get rid of them and then waving goodbye when they got sent back. So I think these white liberals who racially cuck themselves but still live amongst themselves, I think they believe, well, this white genocide won't fully happen in my lifetime, so I'm safe from it. And so they rather live their lives in their white havens, but leave nothing but death and destruction to their children and grandchildren, which again further highlights how liberals in general hate their own kids. And another thing that makes this a highlight is that, racial violence against whites is never highlighted on the main stage like this. I mean, the previous president in Biden was talking about how white supremacy was the biggest threat still, and telling that to a room full of black folks at a HBCU and a black church. And so, I mean, there's plenty to highlight that's going on in this very country. But the fact that he's highlighting what's happening to white South Africans at all is really a unicorn type situation. And it also just exposes the fact that immigration is just about white replacement, because they're kicking and screaming over 59 South Africans as they cheerlead for millions of black and browns being immigrated into this country, documented and undocumented. And if they were rapists and murderers, where they came from, oh, no big deal. I mean, you even have liberal Negroes right now threatening the South African immigrants coming into this country. And so maybe all of this will be a wake-up call to normie whites who believe a race war isn't happening, is actually happening. I mean, because the reality is, no non-white with any sanity wants to live in an America run by a bunch of POCs, and especially ran by Negroes. Because you already get a taste of that with these Negro mayors who are terrible. But yeah, it's really going to be interesting to see ultimately how this whole thing turns out. Because, confronting white genocide and racism, I mean, Marco Rubio called out I don't know if he's a Jew or a white guy. I mean, because and that's why people call out the Jews on the right side of things, because they camouflage as white and they can pass for white. They literally change their last names. And while under that camouflage, they engage in a lot of the anti-white institutions that we have, like Hollywood, for an example. So it is significant to call them out, but it's also significant to call out the people who are truly white that are trying to actively destroy Western civilization within their lifetime, and hoping that they'll be dead by the time it fully unfolds, which again shows you they don't care about their own children.